Hi everybody. Well, this is kind of a continuation of my video from yesterday because after I met with my mechanic and got some things taken care of on Phoenix, then I met with Robert and we have worked out a barter system on some things that he is doing for me and me in return helping him get ready to sell Old Gray. And so today I also get to go get my hot water heater and my shower fixed. But before that, I've got to run into Walmart and get some supplies for me and Bandit. Then I will go out. It's going to be a long day. Then I will go out and I will meet Robert to start the hot water heater and shower repair. So stick with me and let's learn about that together. Well, I tell you, it's never a good sign when you go into Walmart and all of the carts are gone. And I almost, well, if I hadn't have needed some basics like eggs and butter and so forth, I would not have gone in today. And the line was pretty long. But it all worked out okay. We got her done. Oops, I forgot to put the lock on my door. Tell them what you've done so far, Robert.
Just loosening up, taking the drain plug out here. It's been leaking for a while, and see if we can. There we go. See if we can get it fixed. Just a plastic plug. I tried tightening it once; it didn't work. But it looks like somebody puttied it up before, and that failed. The plumber's putty failed, so we'll get everything cleaned up and get a new plug for it. Hopefully that'll fix it.
Okay, and just so everybody knows, that's clean water that's dripping on the ground.
6 gallons of clean water.
That's it right there. We probably should have pulled over to a plant or something. Okay, so and we're going to do some other things. It's not just the plug. It was also something else with the hot water heater.
Yeah, it's not staying lit.
Oh yeah, we got to check and see if it's dirty or...
Or if it's maybe dirty, or it could be a plugged vent tube, or it could be a thermocoupler, so we'll figure it out. Okay,
and unfortunately, even when he gets the hot water heater running for me, I've also had to ask him to help me with the shower because it is dripping. So we will be taking the shower plumbing part off and going to Home Depot if we need to get another shower piece. I don't have the jargon. What is it called?
Oh, the shower valves.
There we go. Okay, so Robert was just telling me something and I don't understand. I know I have a 6-gallon water tank, but what did you say about the recovery, Robert?
Oh, according to the specs on it on the sticker, it'll recover 11.7 gallons in an hour, so probably about a half hour to totally recover from when it's cold.
To do all this, we had to make sure that the propane was turned off, which means that I need to now turn my refrigerator freezer onto DC. There we go. So Robert, are you willing to walk people through what you're doing now?
Just removing the thermocoupler so we can see if we can find a new one. So that might be a culprit, and we're staying quite a ways out of town, so I don't want to have to be going back and forth. It's like 100 miles round trip to go back and forth. So if there's something cheap we can pick up now that might fix the problem, we'll give it a try.
And like I said, the culprit might also be that it needs to be cleaned. But when Robert gets that coupler removed, then we'll be able to clean out the vent and where the pilot light is. And just to be clear, because I'm not sure that I said it right, the 3 issues that I'm having with being able to take a shower is 1, the hot water heater won't stay lit, 2, it was leaking, and 3, the shower plumbing has a leak. We're hoping that all 3 are minor repairs.
Here's the pilot tube, the thermocoupler. It's kind of burnt down. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not a real expert at gas stuff, so we'll see. But I might be getting defective there. Burner tube's kind of sooty. So we'll get things cleaned up and put back together, and hopefully it'll work right.
So Robert just taught me two things that I thought you guys, a lot of you will know this, but I sure didn't. And so I've asked him to show you guys the two things he just taught me so that you can learn too.
Okay, so this is the thermocouple. Again, now that it's all removed, let's see, there's this end threads into the gas control valve, and this end sits horizontally just above the pilot light. And the pilot light is on. It heats this, and it sends a tiny electrical signal back up to the gas control valve, which tells it that the pilot's on, so it's safe for the gas to run. And that's just a safety thing, because if the pilot goes out, then that signal isn't there, and the gas control valve will turn off the gas supply, so you don't blow up your RV or your house or whatever you have a gas appliance in. Okay, so like I said, I'm not 100% positive this thermocouple is bad. It does look like it's worn down pretty good, been burned down pretty good, so it may be, and they're cheap, so we'll just get it replaced, because even if it's not bad now, I don't want it going bad a month later when Debra's traveling somewhere alone and her hot water doesn't work again. So we'll just get it tuned up. They're cheap. We'll get it taken care of. I was showing us through this burner tube here, which this is your gas control valve. The gas line comes in on this side, and of course you have your thermostat here, and this is your knob to turn the pilot off, or the pilot, and then to run. And basically the gas comes out here, and this burner tube goes on like so, and just rides in there, and that's where the flame comes through when it's lit. The pilot sits, which I don't have with me, sits right here, and the thermocouple goes right above it like so. The pilot's underneath of it, since that allows the propane to light when it goes through. But this is kind of an interesting, it looks really simple, and it is simple, but when it sits on here, you see there's a screw here, so it's adjustable, and the position on it. But if this is damaged or plugged up or anything, when the propane comes out, it mixes with air here and goes down, and air and propane have to be mixed at the right ratio, just like ignition in your car. But if the propane and air mix isn't right, you'll get a bad flame or no flame at all. And even if it's damaged or anything, you get turbulence, and that'll be turbulent enough to make the flame go out and not burn properly. So it's fairly simple and basic, but it's also it's got to be right, or it doesn't work, the whole system. So we'll get it tuned up and cleaned up, and hopefully it'll stay running. We thought the first time it went out it was just a wind, because it was a really windy day, but then it did it several times afterwards, even when it wasn't windy. So obviously something's wrong, and we'll just get it fixed so that we don't worry about Debra having a problem.
Okay, so that's the hot water heater, and now Robert gets to come inside, and I am learning all of this so that I can do it from now on. But we're going to take, whoops, if I can get this out of his way, we're going to take the plumbing apart so that we can go to the store and get all these parts, hopefully.
This is a little clip the thermocouple goes through, sort of like so. Comes out here. We got a new one, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it, even though this one's still working. But I'll put a new one on, because they probably get fatigued over time, and we don't want it fail into the thermocouple jiggling out of place while Debra's bahaing through the desert or something. So.
Okay, so even after Robert replaced all the stuff and we turned the water on, it was dripping and he couldn't get the plug tight enough. And so he had to clean all of the stuff up, because they had used what kind of putty?
Plumbing putty. Plumbing
putty, and you don't really want to, you don't really want to do that with plastic. So he got all that cleaned up. So since it still had a leak, we're hoping it's the plug and not the back of the hot water heater itself. And so he just put some plumbing tape on it, but he is soaking wet because when he took the plug back out, more water had gone in the hot water heater than we thought. and it went spraying
More
everywhere.
pressure than I expected. It just came out like a bullet flying across the ground, and I was like being in front of a fire hydrant. Alright, so I'm drying out from my water cannon experience. The water's back on. I've got the air bled out of the lines. The tank is full. So now I'm going to turn the propane back on, and I'm going to test the lines for safety reasons to make sure everything's tight and we don't have any gas leaks before we try and fire it up and before we send Debra down the road. Okay, so the way we test this is really simple. I have a little spray bottle. You know, Debra loves spray bottles, so she got me into it too. This one's just got some dish soap and water in it. I got the dish soap from Debra because I had a flat tire back in Quartzsite not long ago and had to troubleshoot that. So basically the idea is whether you're testing a tire for a flat, you're trying to figure out what a hole is, the leak is, or testing gas lines, the idea is you spray a little bit of soapy water on it. If there's a leak, if there's air coming out, it's going to bubble up and you'll see, you know, like blow bubbles with bubble gum, you know. And if it's not a leak, that won't happen. So this is just an easy and quick way, and it's cheaper and more convenient than buying a propane tester, which if you did this for a living, you probably would have. But all right, so there's only two spots I'm really concerned about. I didn't touch this line over here, the main line coming into the gas valve. And this is all, I didn't touch this other than taking the tube off, but that's not a worry. So what I want to check though is this line here where I did remove it for the pilot, and the other end where it comes out of the gas valve. I want to check that too. So here we go. No bubbles there. And we'll try this other one. Not seeing any bubbles. So that's a good thing. That's what we want. It would be blowing up like a, you know, chewing gum bubble if there was. So all right, so here we go. Hopefully I've got everything positioned just right. This is pretty standard here. Dial it around to the pilot section, press and hold the red button, and then we're gonna light the pilot, hopefully. Okay, it's going. Hard to see out here in the sun being so bright.
All right, turn it.
All right, see if it lights. Debra's standing at a safe distance. I'm already wet down, so that'll help. Not yet, huh? Okay, so first attempt didn't work. The pilot lit, but it didn't light the burner. So I'm looking to push the thermocouple in just a little more. I think it was a little bit out of position. It wasn't working right. So the pilot is on and staying lit. So we're going to try lighting the burner now. And here goes nothing.